Hello and a warm welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. 18.5 million tons of rare minerals discovered. Call for more investors in the electricity sector.
The government is committed to deepen the private sector participation.
And in sports, Tanzanian runner Gabriel Gai finishes second in Boston Marathon. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online. Also, get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and Twitter pages at TBC Online. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan says 18.5 million tons of rare minerals have been discovered in the village of Ungwala in Songwe region and will be mined for more than 40 years, while in the Chilalo area, kwenye minerals will be mined for more than 18 years. President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan made the revelation in Dodoma after witnessing the signing of agreements with mining companies from Australia and England. It's a report prepared by Florence Mavindi, read by Apasia Ringo.
Mining is the sector that identifies Tanzania in the world. Minerals like tanzanite are found only in Tanzania, along with other types of minerals.
Lakini pia tunayo madini.
We also have minerals like iron, gold, nickel, silver, and copper. President Samia asserts that the government will continue to invest in the mining sector and urge Tanzanians to take advantage of the opportunities in the areas of the projects signed today.
Utafiti wa madini ya kwenye na madini adimu.
The research of rare minerals started since 2000 through various companies. I have been informed of the following number of deposits from the research. 67 million tons with an average of 5.4% of minerals was discovered in the Kijichi Chilalo area, which will be excavated for more than 18 years. 63 million tons, equal to an average of 7.6% of minerals, have been discovered in the village of Impanko, which will be excavated for more than 18 years too. On top of that, President Dr. Samia directs the leaders to manage the projects well.
Miradi hii inakwenda kugusa kwa ujumla maisha ya wananchi walioko maeneo hayo.
These projects are going to touch the lives of citizens in those areas in general. I asked the regional commissioners, the district commissioners, and the leaders who are there to manage and serve these projects carefully so that they can be implemented without delay for the benefit of our nation. The Minister of Minerals, Dr. Doto Biteko, says the mining sector attracts large investments from abroad, while the contribution of small miners is also visible.
Huko nyuma wachimbaji wadogo walikuwa wanahesabika kama watu ambao hawachangii.
In the past, small-scale miners were considered as non-contributor. Honorable President, we have studied that small miners in all minerals series in this country have contributed by 40%. This growth is not accidental, but it is due to the inspiration that has continued to be given to the mining sector.
The chairman of the Tanzanian negotiation team, Pala Magamba Kabudi, says that the government has 16% of undiminished shares in those companies and makes clear the content of those agreements.
La kwanza ni kiwango cha hisa maalum za serikali zisizopungua thamani, yani non-dilutable free carried interest, kuwa 16%.
Firstly, the level of special government shares that do not decrease in value, that is non-dilutable free trade interest, which is 16%, and this is low and can rise to 50%. Also, the government's procedure to get more shares in these projects due to the discovery of other minerals in the project area or investments made by the government in the construction of infrastructure in the project area.
Australian and British mining companies that have signed agreements with the Tanzanian government are Ecograph Limited, Evaluation Energy Mineral, and Peak Rare Earth Limited.
From the mining sector, let's have a look at the energy sector, where the Minister for Finance and Planning, Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba, urges investors around the world to invest in the electricity sector in Tanzania. He says Tanzania has resources to produce sufficient and reliable energy that can be sold to various countries as a way to face the challenge of energy shortages in Africa. Lulua Mohammed has more.
producing and Dr. Nchemba made the call in Washington, D.C. in the United States while speaking at a meeting of finance ministers from the Southern African region who have met to discuss energy security and how to engage the private sector to invest in the production of electricity.
The government is committed to deepen the private sector participation. We said we cannot achieve these goals if we will literally do as governments. We have to bring in the private sector to realize the desired 10,000 megawatts by 2025. We are determined to continue improving our legal and regulatory frameworks to attract more private sector to invest in the country. And we are also geared to continue to encourage on private sector investment in the sector to complement the government's effort in filling the energy infrastructure gap.
He says that the government is currently implementing major projects to generate electricity, including the Nyerere Dam project, which will generate 2,115 megawatts, as well as building a 400 kilovolts power line with a length of 1,300 kilometers that will connect countries in Eastern and Southern Africa.
The energy security should not only be left to the state alone, but also should involve the private sector participation, as well as public-private partnership to raise investment levels in the energy sector. So we hope after completing that one, the other one we are moving the Tanzania-Zambia Power Interconnector Project, which will aim to provide space for IPPs to access large regional power markets in the Southern Africa and Eastern. And so to speak, we bring also the central, as we are on the other side connected to Burundi, to DRC via Burundi. So Tanzania welcomes and encourages private sector and investment in energy, and Tanzania now is open. You are all welcome, and we can move together. Make more money.
Ministers of Finance from Southern African countries, under the chairmanship of the Vice President of the World Bank in charge of countries in the Eastern and Southern African region, Mrs. Victoria Kwakwa, have agreed to join forces in producing and selling electricity and asking financial institutions and international organizations to support these efforts by providing funds and technical expertise, including enabling the private sector to participate in the construction of electrical energy infrastructure in their countries.
The director of the Dar es Salaam port, Mrisho Selemani, says the port plans to build a special pier to receive large cruise ships arriving in the country, as well as a modern mall to allow tourists to shop before heading to the country's attraction sites. He made the statement on the arrival of the Seabourn Sojourn cruise ship from Miami, USA. Rehema Sebabili was there, and here's her report.
The cruise ship Seabourn Sojourn arrived at the port of Dar es Salaam with a total of 363 tourists and 3,500 cabin crew. Speaking at the port, the Dar es Salaam port director, Mrisho Selemani, says at the moment the cruise ship and modern pier.
We are happy through Royal Tour campaign. Now we can see a sequence of cruises, the rate of receiving this vessel. Key for handling duty of the TPA together to construct a mall and purchase far out of the port to conduct some of the purchasing. So it's necessary for us to have a dedicated key for cruise ship and the malls for them to purchase everything they require.
For his part, the ship's captain, Kairiako Karas, says the ship will take more than 3 months to travel, while some other tourists being attracted by the attractive outlook of Zanzibar.
We are going to stay here until 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then we're going to continue our next part of our world cruise to go to Durban, South Africa. Initially, we started our world cruise in January 6th of 2023 from Miami, Florida. We have crossed the Pacific Ocean, going through Australia, through Indonesia, and then through Seychelles, and we end up here in Tasmania for our programmed stop before we go from here to South Africa, Durban, Port Elizabeth, and Cape Town, and then we're going to continue to the west part of Africa before we finish our world cruise in May 27 in Barcelona.
It's a beautiful place. The water was gorgeous. We had a great time. The people were wonderful, and it was so many things going on. It was hard to see everything with your eyes and your mind at the same time.
In Zanzibar for 3 days with the boat. It was fantastic. The people are lovely. It's a beautiful city. Now we're looking forward to Dar es Salaam. Yay!
We love the music. We love the people. We've had such a great time here. The boats, it was great. It was beautiful. The people were so friendly, and we had a great time.
The ship expects to start its journey to South Africa, whereby the tourists have had the opportunity to visit various parts of the city, including National Museum, the Museum Village, and the toy market located in Mwenge. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rehema Sebabili, TBC News.
Thank you very much, Rehema Sebabili, for that report. The chairman of the advisory board of Tanzania Electrical and Mechanical in the Lake Victoria has reached 50 and MV Misungwi is in progress. He asserts that the improvements are part of 60 billion Tanzanian shillings projects to repair and construct new ferries.
The construction of 4 new ferries that will provide transport services in Lake Victoria between the areas of Bwira Bukondo, Ijinga Kahangara, Nyakalira Kome, and Kisoria Rugezi has reached 50%.
We have 4 new ferries which are at different stages, but the biggest one is currently at hull stage. Hull is the part of the vessel that stays underwater.
The construction of these ferries aims to improve water transportation in Lake Victoria in the districts of Ukerewe, Sengerema, and Magu in Mwanza region. The government is also implementing various similar projects to repair other ferries, including those of MV Ujenzi, MV Mara, MV Nyerere, as well as MV Misungu.
These ferries are moving bridges, and we are talking about facilitating the movement of people. These are being repaired as they were found with challenges. Thus, they are repaired for the safety of the people. The new ones are for new areas that either had no ferries at all or were few compared to the people's demand. Thus, we see how the government is focused on solving the problem of the people in various areas.
The construction project, together with the repair works, are expected to cost the government 60 billion Tanzanian shillings.
We continue to thank the government for the speed of the ongoing construction. There is good progress because payments are made on time.
The advisory board of the Technical and Electrical Agency, TEMESA, has inspected the repair and construction of new ferries carried out by the Songoro Marine Company in Mwanza and expressed satisfaction with the progress achieved so far.
We have come to assure ourselves, and we have seen that the contractor is working as we expected. We assure you that the government is focused on providing money to ensure that the ferries work, and within a short time, TEMESA services will be improved.
Ferry repair project is expected to be completed within 2 weeks, while the construction of new ferries is expected to be completed in August this year.
Tanzania has received 390 refrigerators for storing virus vaccines from the Japanese government, which will be distributed to 13 regions of mainland Tanzania and Zanzibar. Receiving the refrigerators in Dar es Salaam, the Minister of Health, Mwalimu, says the refrigerators will speed up the government's vaccination efforts for virus diseases, especially for children.
I was talking to the Chief Medical Officer of the government and my colleagues about medical services, but even Tanzanians have to start changing their attitude. We are looking at the high cost of treatment and medical costs, but we can invest more energy in prevention of diseases. And the first prevention is vaccination. So I urge my fellow parents and guardians to ensure that children receive vaccinations according to the schedule.
The Japanese ambassador to Tanzania, Yasushi Misawa, says his government will continue to cooperate with Tanzania in improving the health sector, while the representative of the World Health Organization asserts that vaccination helps to reduce and prevent virus diseases and should not be ignored.
Japan has a long history of development cooperation with Tanzania. Japan's support emphasized more human-centered approach. The health sector of JICA has supported the effort of Tanzanian government in strengthening the management of regional referral hospital to provide services for pregnant women and their children. Also, JICA have volunteers in health and the social sector throughout the Tanzania. When we look at plans or strategies that have a big impact on reducing death and diseases, we usually give vaccination a very large part compared to any other strategies. I think vaccination has become a strategy that has helped to reduce death in children to a greater extent than any other strategies. Therefore, we think that in this, WHO is showing its commitment in this matter, but we want to pledge that we will continue to support the government of Tanzania.
Refrigerators are worth 3,276 million shillings, while vaccine storage rooms are worth 600 million shillings. The Minister of Natural Resources and Tourism, Mohamed Mchengera, has directed the managers and implementers of the Resilient Natural Resource Management for Tourism and Growth in the Southern Tanzania, REGRO, to increase the effectiveness of promoting and creating new platforms for tourism in the Southern Tanzania. He was witnessing the signing of 8 contracts worth more than 157 billion, insisting that stern measures will be taken against those who fail to comply with the directive. It's a report read by Sitilela Kongola, read by Flola Mwano.
The REGRO project seeks to strengthen the management of protected areas and promote nature-based tourism in southern Tanzania, known as the Southern Circuit. Aims to develop new tourism platforms as well as to open up tourism opportunities in the southern regions of Tanzania. The move follows the decline of tourism in those regions despite having tourism attractions.
There are 80 contractors that are going to build airports, renovate various tourism and conservation buildings in Ruaha, Udzungwa, Mikumi and Nyerere Nature Reserves, and the Kilombero Natural Forest. I ask the officials in the ministry to ensure that we manage this area properly, especially for contractors. We will take action to any procurement officer who obstruct or delay and make long contract, because this is a sector that is concerned about quality.
More clarifications were given.
In addition to signing this agreement, the project has already done great things that are going on in our parks. We have brought 45 vehicles that do tourism, patrolling, ecology, and other things that are administrative purposes.
The Conservation Commissioner for the National Parks, William Mwakilema, identifies the projects to be implemented.
3 contracts will be developed for the construction of 6 airports in Mikumi, Ruaha, Nyerere Reserve. These projects have a value of 110 billion Tanzania shillings.
In other news, the government plans to improve transport infrastructure to facilitate exporters of vegetables and fruits, including avocados, in the Njombe region to deliver the products in good quality and on time. It's a report by Tatu Abdallah, read by Lilua Mohammed.
This was stated in a meeting to promote the transportation of goods by ships and domestic airports organized by the Tanzania Shipping Agency TASAC, the Regional Transport Institute of East Coast, and the Tanzania Transporters Council TSC. We should take an advantage of this opportunity from TASAC in collaboration with our port to set up facilities for us in our dry port, where we will organize at Makambako for refrigerating our perishable products. The transporters say that there is a great need to create a system to ensure quick and reliable delivery of perishable goods to the port.
The refrigerated containers are currently available in Nairobi, so you find that there is a high cost, especially in transportation. We advise the government that if there's a possibility, we could set up a good logistics at our Dar es Salaam port.
Director of the Transport Services Department, East Coast, Derek Kagenzi, says that technology is being used to deal with transportation challenges. The Director of Transport Services Control, TASAC, Deogratius Mukasa, says the purpose of the meeting is to receive challenges so that they can be worked on.
We advise the ship owners to ensure that the service needed by the exporters from this area of the Southern Highland are available.
The representative of the Tanzania Ports Authority, TPA, Robert Soko, says that major improvements have been made to attract exporters of raw materials in the country to ship their products.
We have ports that can be able to plug in those affiliated containers, a total of 238 that are ready right now, but there are 300 other ports which are in the installation process.
Director of the Transport Services Department, East Coast, Derek Kagenzi, says that technology is being used to deal with transportation challenges.
We have come up with a software or platform that help collect information where there have been transport restriction on the road or port or even at the initial stage in various offices.
And that item concludes local news. International news up next. Have a look at international news as compiled by Dorothy Murray and read by Lulua Mohammed.
The Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, has called for an immediate cessation of hostilities between the warring parties in Sudan. Presidents of Kenya, South Sudan, Uganda, Djibouti, and Somalia had a virtual meeting to discuss the crisis. President William Ruto of Kenya asked the IGAD leaders to take a firm position to restore peace in Sudan.
As IGAD and as heads of state, that we ask for an immediate cessation of hostilities between the combatants. Number two is to move with speed and conclude on this one matter, on the matter that is causing this whole problem. We provide a mechanism as IGAD, together with our partners, on how this single matter of integration of RSF is resolved. And number three, that we need to send a high-level delegation to Khartoum as and when it is practically possible, but in any case, at the earliest possible.
President Yoweri Museveni of Uganda says it is of the utmost importance to cease the hostilities so as to stop the tragedy and mockery of Africa. The leaders called on the Transitional Sovereign Council General Abdel Burhan and General Mohamed Dagalo to stop the war and return to the negotiation. IGAD resolved to send presidents of South Sudan, Kenya, and Djibouti at the earliest possible time to reconcile the conflicting groups. They said stability in Sudan is key to the social and economic stability of the region as the conflict undermines the peace progress achieved over the last 4 months. In another development, United Nations has held an emergency meeting in New York discussing Sudan's crisis. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has strongly condemned the outbreak of fighting in Sudan, appealing to the leaders of both sides to terminate hostilities and engage in dialogue.
And the region. I urge all those with influence over the situation to use it in the cause of peace, to support efforts to end the violence, restore order, and return to the path of transition. The humanitarian situation in Sudan was already precarious and is now catastrophic.
Meanwhile, in Sudan, the Sudanese military has dismissed the claims from the Rapid Support Forces RSF that they are in control of key sites in Khartoum. The two rival groups have been trading claims of victory and accusations of blame since the fighting broke out on Saturday. In a statement, Sudan's armed forces says RSF claims are misleading information designed to manipulate public opinion. The military did confirm there were clashes around the Sudanese army headquarters in Khartoum, but says the army was still in control of all its command centers. Since the fighting started on Saturday, almost 100 people have been killed and 1,000 people injured. And President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa has signed the Electoral Amendment Bill into law after the bill was passed by both houses of parliament in February 2023. The signing of the bill follows a historic constitutional court ruling that found that the Electoral Act was unconstitutional and it did not allow independent candidates to contest elections. However, it has been criticized as being fundamentally flawed, but the president's spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, says that the bill will enrich South Africa's democracy. He says the Electoral Amendment Bill marks a significant milestone in the evolution of democracy by expanding electoral participation and widening the pool of leadership choices for the National Assembly and provisional legislatures.
That was international news. In sports news, Tanzanian runner Gabriel Gayai finishes second in Boston Marathon. For that and much more, stay tuned to sports news coming up next. And here's sports news with Mario Cheto.
Tanzania long-distance runner Gabriel Gayai has finished second in Boston Marathon earlier today. Gayai from Arusha used 2 hours, 6 minutes and 4 seconds to finish second, while Kenyan and defending champion Evans Chebeti powered back-to-back victorious as Eliud Kipchoge quest to add his collection of major marathon titles ended in disappointment. He will cash in $70,000 US, approximately to 200 million Tanzania shillings. Young Africans Information Officer Ali Kamwe says the defeat from the arch-rivals Simba Football Club will not stop them defend their Premier League title this season. Kamwe claims that the defeat is part of the game and now they are look forward to winning the upcoming league fixtures.
Football has its own results. Team which prepared well gets the results. As Young Africans yesterday results, we thank God for that. We agreed that the results and we are preparing for the upcoming matches.
Young Africans is still on top of the Premier League log with 68 points, while Simba Football Club sits in second place with 63 points, 5 points behind the leader. Mwanza Women Football Association chairperson Sophia Makilagi says Women First Division League has been the place where talents are identified and developed. Speaking after the match between Singida Warriors and Mwanza Dadas held at CCM Kirumba, Makilagi adds that soccer stakeholders should develop those talents for the betterment of women's soccer in Tanzania.
There is a lot of talents in this competition, especially in this region, and other teams, they are doing very well in this competition. So there is a lot of talents.
Singida Warriors crushed Mwanza Dadas by 7-0. Geita Gold Queens defeated Oyster Bay Girls 3-0. And Masala Princes crushed Mapinduzi